How's it going, guys? And welcome back to BL3's Forgotten, the series where I take a look at underused and not often talked about pieces of gear to determine whether or not they deserve to be remembered within the modern meta of the game or should be left behind and forgotten. And today we're taking a look at the Torrent. If you'd like to get the Torrent for yourself, you're going to want to fast travel over to the Stormblind complex on Pandora so that you can start yourself an arms race. Jump on down into the arena and make your way over to this cave section. After clearing out all the enemies beneath, climb back up, open the chest, and hopefully get yourself a Torrent. And of course, if you do, make sure that you extract that Torrent at the nearest extraction station. Of course, being an arms race legendary, this can also be dropped from Heavyweight Harker himself at the end of your run, though at a much lower chance than the chest. The Torrent is a legendary Dahl SMG, able to come as incendiary, corrosive, or radiation, and able to have 1 or 2 projectiles per shot for 1 or 2 ammo costs per shot respectively. The Torrent has a decently big mag size to support its impressively large fire rate, coming in at over 20 per second. Though along with those impressive base stats, the Torrent also fires bullets that fly in a corkscrew pattern, with every 10th of those bullets being replaced with a shock bullet, those shock bullets dealing 3.8 times its base damage. Along with that, the Torrent has a unique burst fire, having 10 shots per burst. Now, I absolutely adored the Torrent back in the pre-sequel, and it's definitely returning here in a pretty different form. Really, the only connection it has to its previous iteration is name and having a pretty high fire rate. Except now the fire rate has been more than doubled. And in BL3, the Torrent is simply another personal favorite of mine, which honestly might come as a bit of a surprise to longtime viewers. I mean, slow-moving projectiles with a goofy-ass projectile pattern that eats through ammo, I usually hate all of those things, especially when they're combined. But here's where the Torrent is different. Is trying to kill flying enemies or anything small and fast sometimes a pain in the ass? Absolutely, and it does make itself apparent very often. But no matter how many bullets you miss, when you are dumping out the sheer volume of lead that the Torrent does, you are bound to obliterate something eventually. And here's the thing, all those things that I listed, they are issues with this gun. You will miss shots. You will run out of ammo, but you will be a force of fucking nature shredding flesh apart at the molecular level with a gun dumping out 545,000 DPS, and you will have an absolute blast doing so. Now we'll finally talk about ×1 versus ×2, where ×1 is honestly just straight up a very easy win here. With ×2, you are blowing through ammo significantly quicker while also likely just missing more shots. And on top of that, it hurts more to miss shots since now you're wasting double the ammo. As much as I love this gun, I would actually say the ×2 variant is just straight up a bad gun while ×1 just absolutely mogs it. The Torrent is just so fresh, it's fucking dunking on itself. Now I've talked up this gun a lot so far, but I actually realized I haven't even touched on the actual power level of this thing. Definitely hinted at it with the amount of knob gobbling I've been doing, but this is a gun that holds up incredibly well at any level of content across any character, probably on any single build that you could throw it on. It is a very plug and play gun because, again, as I mentioned, 545,000 DPS is absolutely nothing to scoff at. That's also just the on-card damage. The special effect also, again, gives you 3.8 times damage on every 10th shot. So you're actually getting more than that. The Torrent is a gun that I can confidently say has earned every single drawback that it has and more than makes up for each and every one in both strength and fun. The Torrent also offers more than just mobbing potential, as this thing is a pretty solid boss killer as well. The clips you're currently seeing are boss kills with the Torrent, most of which are on builds that are not meant to be bossing with a DPS gun like this. And yet it is still able to take them out pretty damn quick, almost giving the tizzy a run for its money. I think the only thing that realistically holds this gun back from being more popular is likely the same as every other absolute banger present in Arms Race, being that it's present in Arms Race. It's an unfortunate fate that most people just don't like farming that content. If you are that kind of person though, I don't care, get the fuck out there, brother, go farm Arms Race, get yourself a Torrent. Don't be a little bitch, Arms Race is based and epic and it will make your parents love you. Final thing I think to note with the Torrent is, of course, ammo regen can be incredibly helpful with this gun. While it is very difficult to get to the point of being able to fire this thing forever, and I'm not even sure if it's possible, even just a little bit of mag size and ammo regen will help you upkeep it a hell of a lot longer. You could also use burst fire, but honestly, I'm kind of not a huge fan of the burst fire on this thing. I mean, really, why are you using the Torrent to use burst fire? Why are you grabbing the burr gun to go burr, burr, burr instead of just burr? Actually, you know what? Scratch that. Burst fire might have a place if you're on console, because the controllers vibrate when you fire the gun, right? Yeah, you know what? Actually, I think if you're on console, that's the meta for this. Get the Torrent, use it on burst fire, let me come over and sit on your controllers. Overall, though, the Torrent is an absolute blast. It is the premier gun go burr in BL3, and it is so easy to just slap it onto anything and have a great time with it. It does have some pretty glaring drawbacks, but in a refreshing turn of events not often seen in guns that Gearbox designs, it actually more than makes up for it. Every drawback either feels like it's made up for it in some way, or like the corkscrew pattern, kind of just enhances the feel of the gun and makes it a little bit more unique than its past iteration was. This is definitely a great gun, and I highly recommend grabbing one if you haven't used it before. But that's gonna about do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, all of that. I'll be live right after this video goes up, right here on YouTube and also over on my Twitch channel, where there will be a link to down in the description below, and just under that is a link to my Discord server where you can come and join and hang out. But with that all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.